inhabitants, but only up to Revered. This, however, would lower your rep with the Syndicate, which was gained by simply killing Ravenhold mobs. These reps had no real unique rewards behind them. Next is the Winter Saber Trainers. This rep was gained by doing constant repeatable quests to go out and do various things in Winterspring, and eventually led you to be able to obtain the Winter Saber mount. The last two are the Timbermaw Hold and the Thorium Brotherhood. The Timbermaw Hold was gained by killing furbogs in the Winterspring and Felwood, while also turning in various items that you would get from them like beads and feathers. This rep led to a fair few recipes, most importantly, really good enchanting recipes. And like Timbermaw Hold, Thorium Brotherhood was mainly gained for its recipes. This rep required you to turn in countless items from the browser. However, of course, to do with fire and rock mostly. And unlocking this rep was required for a ton of fire resist crafting recipes, as well as the recipe for the Sulfuron Hammer needed for the legendary Sulfuron Hand of Ragnaros. Just a couple more, we're almost done with the vanilla reps. The first is the Wild Hinterland. This reputation was gained by gathering items from trolls in the hinterlands and handing them in, however with no actual rewards. His rep was removed the launch of the Burning Crusade. However, you would think this would make this the first removed reputation from the game. No, that spot goes to the Reventus tribe. This rep was gained by doing quests in the Reventus village, but the faction was removed in patch 1.11. Before we move on to the Burning Crusade, there were actually two factions mentioned in patch 1.6 that never got made available to players. Theramore, which would likely have been earned by doing content in Theramore, and various connected ports, and the Silvermoon Remnant, both alliance factions. The Silvermoon Remnant seems to have been hinted as a plan to add more quest locations for High Elven hubs. Maybe even a High Elves coming to the Alliance? Now on to the Burning Crusade. This expansion introduced the daily quest system, and with this, now made reputations grind far more important, and also made them more time gating. As for a few reps, the only way to gain reps with them was to do dailies. The Burning Crusade had a huge reliance on reps. While being able to earn them from dungeons, they were also required for attunements, allowing you to enter dungeons and raids. While Vanilla WoW had a couple of attunements, the Burning Crusade really blew it out of the water. First off, with the new Draenei and Blood Elf race, we got access to the Exodar and Silvermoon reps. Again, reduced prices for other cities and also allowing you to buy the racial mounts, while being earned from just doing various quests. Next, we have the new raid reputations. The Scale of Sands was earned by killing mobs within the Battle for Mount Hydro raid, and gave access to rings as well as gem recipes for the new jewel crafting profession. And also the Ash Tongue Death Swarm. This rep was earned by killing mobs in the Black Temple, and allowed you to get several crafting recipes and even class trinkets with unique effects based on your class. Next is the reputation called the Keepers of Time, earned by killing mobs and escape from Durnhold Dungeon and inside the Black Morass. This rep allowed you to buy various recipes, blue pieces of gear, and a couple of epic items too, Exalted. Then we have Tranquillion. This reputation was earned by completing quests and turning in quest items into Ghost Lanes, mostly gained by Blood Elves while leveling. This rep sold nothing but some low-level green items. And hey, if you got all the way to Exalted with this rep, you could buy a level 21 blue item, at least. So, really, one of the most forgettable reps of the Burning Crusade. The Violet Eye, earned by killing mobs within Karazhan. This reputation allowed you to receive a special ring depending on your role, increasing its power as you gain more and more rep, just like the ring from the Bruno's Dormu.
Inventory is full.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We have an amazing show for everybody today. What do we have, Crystal?
Indeed, we do. Lots of stories we're tracking this morning. An update for you on the Ukraine situation. Biden met with Putin. And a look kind of overall at his foreign policy, which has been a little bit all over the place in his presidency. Some conflicting signals there, some good, some bad. Twitter has suspended the Nancy Pelosi portfolio tracker account,
Yes.
and also an account that was just providing updates on the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. They also have some new policies, again, that they announced. This, again, all since that new CEO took over. Very troubling signs there. Happy anniversary to NAFTA, the terrible free trade agreement signed during the Clinton administration, which devastated many American towns. We have a new analysis on just how devastating that was, not just economically, but for Democrats politically. Update on the whole Jussie Smollett situation. New little twist, which is that Don Lemon was apparently texting him, tipping him off to the fact that the police were not really buying his story. Did Lemon have anything to say about that on his broadcast?
We'll see.
We'll let you know. Also, Katie Halper is going to join us. I did a live stream with her last night, along with Brown Joy Gray and Marianne Williamson. Try to raise funds for Stephen Donziger's legal defense fund. He, of course, is in prison for the crime of trying to hold Chevron accountable for the devastation that they inflicted on people in Ecuador. But we wanted to start with some really interesting polls. A lot of warning signs here for Democrats, but also a few warning signs here for Republicans, too, as they look forward. Let's go ahead and throw this tear sheet up on the screen. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Their headline reads, "Voters pessimistic about economy, Biden's leadership, Wall Street Journal polls finds." First survey in the Wall Street Journal's new polling effort shows Republicans in strong position, though Democrats have advantages in some policy areas. Kind of the headline numbers. We can put this next tweet up on the screen with the approval ratings and where things stand. So Josh Kraushaar says Biden approve at 41, disapprove at 57. Noteworthy there, too, he has the strong approve is only 19.
Yes.
The strong disapprove is 46. You don't want to be there.
No.
Generic ballot, GOP leads by 3 points. That's roughly the margin of error, but Republicans also have a structural advantage when it comes to Congress and also to the Senate. Party better able to deal with the economy. This is a devastating one. Republicans, 46. Dems, 35.
That's terrible.
Terrible. So top line numbers, very, very ugly for Democrats, and it doesn't get much better from there. We'll get to some of the warning signs for Republicans in a moment, but, you know, Tucker, I just keep coming back to when you think about the way Biden campaigned. In a way, he really promised nothing.
Yes.
It was very vague. It was very, it was like a collection of slogans and catchphrases, and mostly the promise was, listen, we're going to get rid of Trump, and this guy's, been obnoxious and terrible, and you're all sick of him. And that was enough. But on the other hand, because he promised things like return to normal, like restore the soul of America, well, in a sense, those are actually really big promises. And so the fact that we still have a pandemic, we still are having to worry about new variants and, still having to worry about masks and is my kid going to be able to go to school this week and all of these things. So there isn't a sense of like, oh, we're back to normal. You layer on top of that the inflation concerns.
Oh, it's huge.
Which are voters' top concerns here, which I think Democrats, look, a lot of it's out of their control, and a lot of these are supply chain issues that, came naturally out of the pandemic. But there's also not a sense that they really care that much about it. That's a big problem. And then on the restore the soul of America piece, do you feel like America's soul is restored? I particularly don't. We're doing our best here, but
we try.
Still a lot of work to be done. So I actually think because he had these amorphous slogans and catchphrases that actually amounted to really high bars if you look at it through a certain prism, we're not back to normal. America still feels divided as ever. You can understand why people look at the state of affairs and feel pretty depressed and pretty down on the party that controls the White House, the Senate, and the House.
Yes, and there are deeper issues here also for the Democrats, which is the right track, wrong track in this poll. 63% wrong track, 27% say right track. I really want to meet these people. Oof. They must all be rich. I don't really know who they are. But on the issues themselves, these are also very important. These are the areas where Republicans have the advantage. Rebuilding the economy. 46% say they trust the GOP, 30%.
This is Mount Pektu, also known as Chengbai Mountain by the Chinese. It lays here, in Asia, on the border between China and North Korea. Although few outside the region even know it exists, the enormous stratovolcano is one of the largest and most dangerous volcanoes on Earth. Its massive caldera, which today is partially filled by an equally massive crater lake, has an area of almost 20 square kilometers. That's more than 5 times larger than the caldera of Mount St. Helens. The eruption that shaped the caldera around 1,000 years ago is considered to be the second largest volcanic eruption in the last 5,000 years. Classified as a 7 or supercolossal eruption on the Volcanic Explosivity Index, it ejected more than 100 cubic kilometers of material, enough material to bury even villages more than 1,200 kilometers away in northern Japan under a thick layer of ash. And yet, despite its size and its destructive past, Mount Pektu was for the longest time
Mon son est chier, fuck. What the heck?
There, Pogo.
Bon, allô?
Allô.
En forme.
Va toi.
Yup, yup, yup.
Et tu trouves un taxi pour te rendre chez vous hier soir?
Ouais. Ça a été long, mais... J'aurais attendu 20 minutes dans le parking souterrain.
Ouais.
Pas si pire.
Non, c'est pas si pire. La question c'était, est-ce qu'il va vraiment se rendre dans le parking souterrain?
Order placed. Ah. Cocher. Cocher.
Ouais.
and to some degree still is today, a mystery. Even for the scientists that have studied it, the volcano remained a conundrum only until very recently. Nobody could explain why exactly here, in a tectonic sense, in the middle of nowhere, one of the largest volcanoes on Earth exists. To understand why Mount Pektu is so unique, we first have to understand what makes ordinary volcanoes, well, ordinary. Take a look at this map. It is a map of all the active volcanoes in the Pacific. Most of them run along clearly visible lines, almost like a string of pearls. Why this is becomes clear when you lay a map of the tectonic plates over it. Almost all volcanoes are found along plate boundaries, more specifically along subduction zones, so zones where two plates collide and the denser oceanic plates are pushed under the continental plates. Here in Japan, for instance, where the Pacific plate is being subducted beneath the Okhotsk and the Philippine Sea plate, and where the Philippine Sea plate is in turn being subducted beneath the Eurasian plate. As a consequence of these complex subduction zones, Japan is one of the most volcanically active regions in the world. In total, the small island nation has over 100 active volcanoes. The fuel of this subduction zone volcanism is, slightly ironically, water.
Well met.
Oceanic crust holds huge amounts of water, stored in hydrous minerals which form when crust interacts with seawater. As the subducting slab descends into the mantle, it encounters greater and greater temperatures and pressures. This ultimately, at depths of around 120 kilometers or 75 miles, causes the rock to change its chemical composition and release the water that was trapped in the crust into the mantle above. Water added to the hot solid mantle lowers its melting point because the water molecules weaken the crystalline structure of the rock, much in the same way that salt weakens the crystalline structure of ice. The magma produced this way then rises up into the overriding plate, collects in magma chambers, and eventually causes volcanic eruptions on the surface. And so, a volcanic arc that runs parallel to the subduction zones is created along the plate boundaries. A similar pattern can be found all around the Pacific Ocean, like here in Indonesia, or in Chile. In fact, almost 80% of all active volcanoes on Earth run along the numerous subduction zones in the Pacific, which is why the region is commonly referred to as the Ring of Fire. We already know this since the 1960s when the model of continental drift, first proposed by Alfred Wegener in 1912, was finally proven, and together with the model of seafloor spreading combined into the theory of plate tectonics.
I need to target something first.
There was only one problem. There were still a few volcanoes that didn't conform to this theory. Volcanoes that were seemingly sprinkled across the globe at random. Like here, in Hawaii, some 3,800 kilometers or 2,400 miles away from the next plate boundary, or in Yellowstone. Changbai Mountain, which sits more than 1,000 kilometers northwest of the Japan Trench, is another one of these weird interpolate volcanoes. To explain this kind of volcanism, a new model was needed. An important clue to solve this mystery could be found on the ocean floor in the North Pacific. If you follow the line of islands that make up the Hawaiian archipelago northwest, you could find a series of volcanic structures that once formed very similar islands before millions of years of erosion reduced them to a series of atolls and seamounts. This so-called Hawaiian Emperor chain contains more than 80 individual structures like this, stretching nearly 6,000 kilometers or 3,900 miles across the ocean floor. On first glance, you might come to the conclusion that the source of Hawaii's volcanism must be moving from northwest to southeast, like a giant marker drawing a line across the Pacific plate. However, you can also explain this line in a different way. The same pattern would be produced if instead the oceanic floor is moving. To this realization came the Canadian geologist John Wilson too in the 60s. The movement of the Pacific plate from southeast to northwest above a stationary source of magma would also produce this image. And sure enough, this is exactly the current path of the plate. Such volcanism that isn't influenced by plate tectonics would need to have a much deeper origin than other volcanoes. This idea was then developed into the mantle plume model. It explained these volcanoes as hotspots that are fed by enormous upwellings of hot mantle rock that rise to the surface from the depths of Earth's mantle, driven by heat exchange across the core mantle boundary, 2,900 kilometers or 1,800 miles below the surface. And while it would take a few more decades before technology had advanced to the point that it could actually prove what Wilson had only hypothesized based on a few pieces of evidence, there was finally an explanation for intraplate volcanism. With this, the puzzle surrounding the source of the mysterious volcanoes in places such as Hawaii, Yellowstone, and Northeast Asia seemed to be solved. There was only one slight issue. Mount Pektu is not such a hotspot, but scientists wouldn't realize this until the end of the 20th century. One reason the mountain has remained elusive for such a long time certainly has to do with its location. It not only lays in a very remote region of Asia, it also sits at the border of two countries that lived in almost complete isolation for much of the 20th century. It was only once China started to open up more and more to the outside world in the 80s and 90s and began to promote scientific research that gathering information about this solitary giant became less of a political impossibility. Still, it wasn't until the end of the 90s that the first permanent seismographs were installed on the Chinese side of the mountain. And this was hugely important because seismographs had become perhaps the most essential tool for studying the geology of Earth's interior. That's because of one clever invention: seismic tomography. In the 1970s, computed tomography, or CT scans, revolutionized medicine by giving doctors the ability to look into their patients' bodies without having to make any cuts, and that way look for tumors, fractures, infections, and a variety of other problems and diseases safely and effectively. Geologists realized that they could adopt this technology for themselves to finally reveal what's going on hundreds or even thousands of kilometers below our feet. Because the seismic waves produced by earthquakes move at different speeds depending on the temperature, density, water content, and state of the rocks they travel through, you can measure the arrival times of these waves at various points on the surface to map out the interior of our planet. This allowed scientists to quite literally cut open the Earth and see what's inside. Like medicine before, this technology revolutionized Earth science. Finally, it was possible to see processes that were long hypothesized, like the subduction of plates into the mantle, the formation of new ocean floor through upwellings of hot mantle material below mid-ocean ridges, and of course plumes that rise up from the core mantle boundary and feed hotspots, such as Hawaii and Yellowstone. And so, for a brief moment in time, we had an explanation for every form of volcanism on the planet. All three forms, subduction-induced volcanism, mid-ocean ridge volcanism, and mantle plumes, were supported by evidence and seemed to explain every volcano or volcanic structure on the planet. That was until the first tomographic models of Mount Changbai appeared in the late 90s and early 2000s. What they showed was significantly different from what images of Hawaii or Yellowstone showed. There wasn't the prominent low-velocity anomaly extending all the way down to the core mantle boundary. Instead, the anomaly seemed to end roughly 400 kilometers or 250 miles below the surface, which is deep, much deeper than the source of any volcano near subduction zones, but not nearly as deep as the 2,900 kilometers or 1,800 miles geologists had expected. Not only that, but below the low-velocity anomaly, there was a distinct high-velocity anomaly that showed up in the images at depths of about 600 kilometers or 380 miles. Right here. It showed what appeared to be a large barrier of unusually cold material. This puzzled the geological community. Once again, there was a form of intraplate volcanism that couldn't be explained. That wasn't a typical hotspot like previously thought. One of the largest volcanoes on Earth suddenly didn't seem to fit into any existing category. It was a completely new kind of volcano. To understand what's going on here, we first have to understand this zone. Curiously, the cold anomaly observed here sits right inside the so-called mantle transition zone. This is the known transition zone between the lower and upper mantle. Here, the pressure is great enough that it changes the internal arrangement of the atoms by forcing the rock into a much denser, more compact crystalline structure. This results in a sudden, quite significant jump in viscosity in the zone. Because of this, the mantle transition zone acts as a sort of barrier in the mantle, which at least partially separates the processes in the upper and lower mantle from one another. Geologists quickly realized that the distinct anomaly of cold material in this zone can only be a piece of ancient crust. Expanding the image further to the east quickly reveals which plate it is. It appears that the Pacific plate, after subducting into the mantle, bends horizontally and becomes stagnant in the mantle transition zone right below Mount Pektu. This wasn't even that surprising. Ever since we began to understand more about the interior of our planet and its layers, it has been speculated that slabs after their subduction would become stagnant here. In fact, there was a fierce debate going on in the geological community, with one side arguing that the convection processes in the upper and lower mantle are separated from one another and that slabs after their subduction become stagnant in the boundary layer, while the other side argued for whole mantle convection and subducting slabs sinking all the way to the bottom of the mantle, forming a graveyard of slabs on top of Earth's core. But before you think clearly the first group had it right, here's an image of the subduction zone just a few hundred kilometers to the south. Here, you can clearly see the Pacific slab penetrating the mantle transition zone and sinking into the lower mantle. Likewise, global seismic tomography models have revealed an entire catalog of roughly 100 old slabs that have penetrated deep into the mantle. So clearly it's not as simple as picking one model over the other. That aside, there was also the question how a stagnant slab could even produce volcanism so far away from the subduction zone. Earthquakes provided an important clue. Most earthquakes on Earth occur, just like volcanoes, near plate boundaries, where the crust is bent and deformed by the collision of the plates. But seismographs in Asia also frequently pick up strong earthquakes deep below Mount Changbai, 600 kilometers or 380 miles below the surface. Remember this chart, it'll be important later. Here, our story takes a bit of a turn because at the start of the 20th century, earthquakes became the center of discussion for a different reason. In 2002, the newly established Tianshi Volcano Observatory started to pick up a worrying increase in seismic activity 5 kilometers or 3 miles below the mountain. Over the next year, the number of earthquakes increased from an average of 10 per month to over 100, in some months even over 200, signaling that an outbreak might be imminent. If we look at Mount Changbai's eruptive history, we can see that it can be broadly divided into 3 evolutionary stages. The volcanic activity started around 20 to 30 million years ago, as part of the large-scale intraplate volcanism that took place in Northeast Asia since the late Jurassic period. Around 2.5 million years ago, partial melting in the mantle below the volcano increased significantly and resulted in the eruption of extensive amounts of basaltic lavas, which even today cover an area of around 10,000 square kilometers or 4,000 square miles, with an enormous shield-like plateau, the largest in the region. Due to the enormous weight of this plateau, the rise of the magma below was eventually slowed down, so much that it began to collect in a shallower magma chamber before erupting to the surface. This was actually very important, as the extra time changed the chemical composition of the melt due to contamination from the crust and the deposition or removal of certain minerals in the magma. As a result, the lava that erupted onto the surface became a lot more viscous, which led to the formation of a volcanic cone on top of the basalt plateau. This second phase lasted from around 1 million to 4,000 years ago, and by the end of it, had produced a cone roughly 4 kilometers or 13,000 feet high. The last stage, the explosive stage, then resulted in the almost complete destruction of this cone, which brings us back to the Millennium's eruption of 946. This enormous eruption blew off the entire top half of the volcano, creating the caldera that we see today. If you imagine the amount of material that must have existed between the 2-kilometer high surface of Heaven Lake that partially fills the caldera today, and the once 4-kilometer high summit of the volcanic cone, it's not difficult to see that the Millennium eruption must have been one of the most catastrophic eruptions in human history. It produced a plume of smoke and ash that shot an estimated 25 kilometers or 15 miles into the stratosphere, and ultimately covered more than 350,000 square kilometers between northern Korea and the Kuril Trench in 5 to 10 centimeters or 2 to 4 inches of ash. That's an area larger than the entire Korean peninsula. The total amount of ash dispersed by the eruption would have been enough to bury the whole of New York City under almost 150 meters or 500 feet of ash. Additionally, pyroclastic flows, avalanches of superheated gas and debris, filled valleys and canyons as far as 50 kilometers or 30 miles in every direction, burning an area the size of Tokyo in the process. At the time, the area around the mountain and Northeast Asia in general were not particularly densely populated, but today more than 1.5 million people live within the immediate danger zone of the volcano, and almost 1 billion people live within the potential fallout zone. Within this 1,500-kilometer radius, you can find many of the largest cities in the world, such as Seoul, Pyongyang, Tokyo, Osaka, Beijing, and Shanghai. If only 1 or 2 of these megacities would be buried in volcanic ash from a similarly strong eruption, the damages caused by that could easily make it one of the most costly natural disasters in history. But in mid-2005, the mountain went silent again. The seismic activity went back to its pre-2002 levels, and has remained that low ever since, making an eruption within the next few years unlikely, at least at the present day. But what these years have shown us is that the volcano is very much active and will likely erupt again at some point in the future. This ignited the scientific interest in the volcano and resulted in a flood of new research, primarily from China. Mount Paektu's sudden unrest even got the normally very reclusive North Korean government worried, to the point that they started to reach out to the West and eventually even invited a team of scientists to the country to study the volcano. Together with their North Korean colleagues, the group collected data, took rock samples, and installed a set of seismographs to monitor the mountain. The first results of this unique collaboration were published in 2016. With all the new research that has been done over the last 10 to 20 years, we now have a pretty good understanding of what causes this unusual form of volcanism. Using the latest seismic tomography models, created taking nearly 80,000 recorded by over 3,000 seismic stations, we can now map the mantle below Northeast Asia with never-seen-before clarity. From here, we can create a schematic 3D model of the main features that drive the volcanism under Changbai Mountain. Let's start with the most obvious one, the Pacific Plate. As you can see, a huge portion of the slab has become horizontal and stagnant under Northeast Asia after subducting at a roughly 30-degree angle below the island of Japan. In the process, it has trapped much of the upper mantle in the region between the crust and itself, creating what geologists have termed a big mantle wedge under the Korean peninsula and East China. Also of note is this gap, roughly at 35 degrees northern latitude. Here, the Pacific Plate is visibly being torn apart at depths of around 300 kilometers or 190 miles, with the southern part descending at a much steeper 70-degree angle and subsequently penetrating the lower mantle. The length of the western edge of the stagnant slab, which is much longer than the corresponding part of the subduction zone, indicates that these two pieces were once joined together, before they were ripped apart, likely as a result of the huge forces generated by the differences in the subduction rate, direction, and angle. Focusing on the mantle below Mount Pektu reveals a prominent low-velocity anomaly of partially molten rock that sits on top of the stagnant slab and has a diameter of roughly 100 kilometers or 60 miles. It can be described as a plume that rises from the mantle transition zone. This is an important distinction because unlike normal mantle plumes that are relatively unaffected by the tectonic processes near the surface, this plume seems to be the direct result of these processes, namely the subduction and stagnation of the Pacific Plate. Furthermore, the source of its buoyancy also seems to be different. While normal mantle plumes rise as a result of heat exchange between the lower mantle and the much hotter core, this plume is not significantly hotter than the surrounding mantle. Instead,
How are you? Have a good one. Hello. Safe travel. Greetings. Light bless you.
Instead, its buoyancy seems to mainly be caused by water. Electrical conductivity studies have shown that the mantle transition between Northeast Asia holds huge amounts of water, 5 to 10 times more than you would normally find here. This water was likely trapped here by more than 100 million years of continuous subduction and dehydration of the ocean floor along the eastern seaboard of Asia. Deep earthquakes in the stagnant slab seem to indicate that these dehydration processes are still going on today. Here's where the chart from earlier comes in. As you can see, earthquakes occur pretty much everywhere in the downgoing slab, but they seem to pick up again in magnitude and quantity once we get to this point, the mantle transition zone below Changbai Mountain, where we can see a visible cluster of deep earthquakes. These earthquakes may reflect the reactivation of faults deep in the
I don't have a target.
How are you? Safe travels.
Be careful.
What are you looking for? See you later.
Light be with you. Go with
the slab caused by the horizontal bending of the plate. Near the Japan Trench, many normal faulting earthquakes occur in the outer rise portion because of the upward bending of the oceanic lithosphere before the plate subduction. A large amount of seawater may enter into the deep portion of the Pacific Plate through these normal faults. As the stress regime changes from extension to compression during the subduction, the normal faults are closed, and thus a large amount of water could be preserved deep within the slab. While dehydration processes of the overlying crust cause the commonly observed arc volcanism, the water stored deep within the slab is brought down to the mantle transition zone. Here, the stress regime once again changes because of the huge resistance at the bottom of this zone. As the slab bends and deforms, the preserved faults are reactivated, which allows for dehydration processes deep within the slab. How these dehydration processes look like in detail is, however, still subject to debate. The extreme temperatures and pressures, as well as the unique minerals found in this zone, make it difficult to predict how exactly the water interacts with the surrounding mantle. One thing, however, has become clear over the last couple of years. The mantle transition zone below Northeast Asia, and likely elsewhere in the world, is an enormous water reservoir and likely plays a critical role in global water recycling processes. Thanks to the minerals in this zone that are particularly good at incorporating water into their structure, the mantle transition zone may hold more water than all the oceans combined. Below Changbai Mountain in particular, it seems the water content has reached a critical amount, enough that the hydrous mantle becomes buoyant and starts to rise into the upper mantle. Here, it accumulates on top of the mantle transition zone and forms a hydrous plume. Convection processes in the big mantle wedge caused by the fast subduction of the Pacific slab likely further aid the plume's rise, and the reduction in pressure ultimately causes dehydration melting of the wet mantle rocks. The result is a continuous wet and hot upwelling right below Northeast Asia.
What can I do for you?
So to summarize, Mount Pektu is not a traditional hotspot, but a sort of back-arc volcano caused by a hydrous plume that rises from the mantle transition zone and that is fueled by the subduction and stagnation of the Pacific slab under Northeast Asia.
Be careful.
Detailed tomographic images of the other volcanic fields in the region show similar structures below them, indicating that they were the result of similar subduction-related processes. In fact, it seems the entirety of East China and the Korean Peninsula were heavily shaped by these mechanisms. If you map the western edge of the Pacific slab, you can find it lines up perfectly with the so-called north-south gravity lineament, an important geophysical boundary in East China, where the surface topography visibly changes. You can see it quite clearly on this height map. When you cross this boundary from west to east, the thickness of the continental plate dramatically decreases from around 100 kilometers or 60 miles to about 50 kilometers or 30 miles. The result is a significant reduction in surface elevation in Northeast Asia. That this boundary lines up so well with the Pacific plate below is no coincidence. Evidence suggests that the entire region was the result of millions of years of lithospheric destruction from below, caused by the continuous subduction and the subduction-related melting and upwelling of mantle material. The result of these processes was extensive large-scale volcanism and the formation of intrapolate volcanoes in Northeast Asia, of which Changbai Mountain is currently the largest and most active of. While this might seem like a story about this one very unique volcano in a remote corner of Asia, it's actually much more than that. What the geodynamics of Northeast Asia have shown us over the last 20 years is that the mantle transition zone plays a key role in continental magmatism, and that the importance of water in these processes has been significantly underestimated in the past. And this has historically not just happened here in Asia. Wet upwellings related to the subduction and stagnation of oceanic crust in the mantle transition zone may in fact provide a possible explanation for much of the terrestrial intraplate volcanism that has happened around the globe. Geochemical analyses even suggest similar processes are likely linked to the formation of continental flood basalts, which represent the largest volcanic events in Earth's history. These cataclysmic eruptions that covered areas of hundreds of thousands to more than 1 million square kilometers in lava are important points in our geological history, points that mark the rifting and breakup of continents or catastrophic mass extinctions. Conventionally, the formation of these provinces was, like their oceanic counterparts, attributed to the initial arrival of mantle plumes from the core mantle boundary, but the chemical composition of continental flood basalts is often distinct. Hydrous melt that seems to have originated from recycled oceanic crust could, for instance, be identified in the Siberian Traps and the Central Atlantic Magmatic Province, which instead implies a subduction-related origin. This means Changbai Mountain is not an isolated case. Instead, it has become an important window into processes that likely have in the past, albeit on a much larger scale, not just played a key role in the formation and breakup of continents, but also severely impacted the course of evolution on a global scale.
Just under 1,500 years ago, something terrifying happened to the world's climate. Something nobody could understand.
I can't use that.
The sun began to go dark.
I can't drink anymore.
Rain the color of blood poured from the skies. Clouds of fine dust enveloped the earth. Winter gripped the land for 2 years. then came drought, famine, plague, death. Whole cities were wiped out, civilizations crumbled, and nobody knew what had happened. It was a catastrophe that affected millions and millions of people all round the world. But what was it?
The mid-6th century catastrophe was the most important date in the history of the past 2,000 years. It really did lay the foundation for the world we live in today.
For 5 years, in the attic of his unassuming suburban home, David Keyes, a writer on history and archaeology, has immersed himself in a worldwide investigation. He's consulted over 80 experts on drought, famine, floods, cosmic and ecological disasters, epidemics, and ancient wars. He's scoured the annals and chronicles of the 6th and 7th centuries AD from all over the world. His book tells the story of a catastrophic climatic event buried in the heart of the Dark Ages, which Keyes believes totally altered the course of history. The mystery, which has so tantalized him, began at a conference on archaeology in 1994.
One particular talk really amazed me. It was a lecture given by a dendrochronologist, an expert in tree rings, called Mike Bailey. And he was giving a lecture about how all the tree rings in the world really went haywire somewhere in the middle of the 6th century.
Years ago, when he was a physics student, Professor Mike Bailey of Queen's University in Belfast pioneered a revolutionary idea in a totally different field to his own. He devised a computer system which would put trees to scientific use. He had realized that trees had the potential to become the silent witnesses of the world's changing weather, going back thousands of years. Every year, trees put on a new layer of growth within the bulb. These layers show up as rings.
Not enough mana.
Every ring varies in width. A wide ring is a year of good weather. A narrow ring, a bad year. The pattern of wide and narrow rings is distinctive. Each ring sequence can be matched with the rings of previously felled trees and precisely dated. The computer program which matches the patterns of the rings was Mike Bailey's invention, and it's now used by laboratories all over the world.
I need to target.
Over the last 30 years, you know, there's a variety of people, a variety of laboratories have set out and worked back from known felling dates, taking you back through long records of living trees and then overlapping to patterns from historic buildings, for example, fitting together these sort of long ring patterns, going back hundreds and eventually thousands of years.
It's by painstakingly analyzing and overlapping the patterns of older and older trees that a complete, unbroken record of tree ring widths is built up.
So you've got this sample with its very clear character change just here. When we processed another sample from the same building, we could see that it came originally from the same parent tree. And you could extend the pattern back from the first sample right back through to the beginning of this sample.
Many samples have to be analysed by Mike Bailey's computer program to get the average width for every year. It took 14 years to build up the complete data just for Irish oaks. This tree record is now telling Irish scientists what the weather was like every single year for the last 7,500 years.
If you think about that, that's an astonishing position to be in. We can interrogate for any calendar year in the last thousands of years what trees thought of their growth conditions over a big geographical area. That information simply didn't exist before. But what we're interested in is, why did this tree narrow at this point and narrow again at this point? What is the environmental information which is actually stored in the patterns?
David Keyes went to Ireland to see for himself the mysterious 6th century event stored in Mike Bailey's tree records.
Shuffle through here, David.
It was 10 years ago that Mike Bailey noticed his oak records went abnormally narrow in the mid-6th century AD. Signs that something very powerful was stopping the trees growing.
539, 542, extremely narrow.
Bailey then told Keyes of similar evidence from Europe, particularly from a colleague in Finland.
He sees a really abrupt drop in 536, a bit of a recovery in 537, 38, and then it drops until 542. So you can only see a pattern.
And that pattern wasn't just confined to Ireland and Finland. By contacting other labs, David Keyes found that wherever you looked in the world, in the mid-6th century, trees were having a terrible time. Foxtail pine rings from the Sierra Nevada mountains in California showed that 535, 536, and 541 were 3 of the 4 worst years in the past 2 millennia. In Chile, Fitzroy trees record the greatest summer growth drop of the past 1,600 years. In Siberia, a 20-year decline in tree growth in the 530s and 540s was the most serious in the past 1,900 years. So why were the trees not growing? Was it dark, cold, natural pollution, or drought? For Mike Bailey, the answer lay in a microscopic examination of a 536 AD spring. Cells normally seen in winter are showing up in summer too.
A colleague in Germany sent me this photograph of one of his German oaks. The tree puts on a line of these large spring vessels, and it then puts on fine cells during the summer and goes dormant, and then it does again the next year. So each year's growth is from the beginning of one line of vessels to the beginning of the next. And in this year, the year 536, the vessels are enormously small, and they're also distributed right through the summer. So it's widely this phenomenon is due to frost damage.
The implication from this kind of worldwide evidence was that the weather was extremely cold for long periods in the mid-6th century. Mike Bailey also had archaeological evidence from Ireland which backs this up. Much of the wood that he dated came from crannogs, wooden island forts that people built as refuges in times of trouble and clan warfare. Bailey took Keyes to the remains of one in Loch Catherine, near Omagh, to look at the submerged timbers that once formed the outer wall.
My first inkling that there was something going on came from timbers specifically from sites like this.
The mid-6th century marks the beginning of the construction of canals. Bailey believes that this was due to the hostile conditions stemming from the climatic disaster.
When you look at the overall picture, there seems to be about a decade of really bad conditions, starting in 536 and running on to at least. The implication from lots of bits of evidence is that it was extremely cold, and that this reduced sunlight and cold caused crop failures. Basically, people in an area like this were forced back onto non-agricultural produce. They would be forced to fish, they would be forced to hunt. And that would put a lot of strain on a population that was used to having agricultural produce to see them through the winters, for example. So I think things would have been fairly bleak here.
Keyes was now hooked, not just by the tree ring evidence that it was cold, but also by the fact that people seemed to be suffering. His next step was to see whether there were any written accounts from the time of the climate falling apart. By far the greatest civilization of the 6th century was the Roman Empire. Rome had been sacked 100 years earlier by Huns and Goths, but now the empire was resurgent with a new capital in Constantinople. Once again, it was the center of Mediterranean culture. By contacting classical scholars, Keyes unearthed many highly significant Roman accounts of bizarre weather.
I need more mana.
One eyewitness, Assyrian bishop John of Ephesus, describes the extraordinary events during the years 535 and 536 AD.
I'm out of range.
There was a sign from the sun, the like of which had never been seen or reported.
Charging.
The sun became dark, and its darkness lasted for 18 months. Each day it shone for about 4 hours, and still this light was only a feeble shadow. Every day that the sun would never have its full light again.
Historians of the 6th century empire do not usually record climatic events unless they are something really stupendous. A natural event like a comet will get mentioned. Now, in the 530s, the fact that John mentions a 2-year dimming of the sun indicates that it is significant. John, writing in Constantinople, mentions it. Cassiodorus, writing in Italy, he too refers to a dimming of the sun.
We have had a spring without mildness, and a summer without heat. The moon, which should have been maturing the crops, have been chilled by north winds. Rain is denied, and the reaper fears new frosts.
These accounts from the Mediterranean and Middle East were extraordinary enough, but what about the other civilizations of that time? Keyes scoured records from North and South China, Korea and Japan.
And as it turned out, there were, out of, say, well over 30 sources, there were around a dozen which actually refer directly to the darkened sun event or to its consequences, to its immediate consequences.
That spells.
In 540, the Japanese great king wrote, "Food is the basis of the empire. Yellow gold and 10,000 strings of cash cannot cure hunger. What avails 1,000 boxes of pearls to him who is starving of cold?" And the now ancient chronicle of southern China records, "Yellow dust rained down like snow. It could be scooped up in handfuls."
As the research continued, I began to realise more and more that this disaster had really enveloped the entire world. It just wasn't just a few places, but it was virtually everywhere. The only question was what was causing it. There seemed in my mind only 3 possible answers to that. Either an asteroid, or a comet, or a volcano.
Imagine living in the middle of the 6th century, suffering a climatic catastrophe, an event so horrendous that trees hardly grew for years, and the sun dimmed. Whatever it was, it would have taken thousands of cubic miles of dust to be hurled into the atmosphere to cause this permanent winter. Was an asteroid, comet strike, or volcano responsible? At Los Alamos, the birthplace of the atomic bomb, scientists have been studying all the possible atmospheric consequences of nuclear strikes and cosmic collisions.
We certainly have plenty of evidence that the Earth is struck repeatedly by asteroids large and small, comets large and small. We have to have big things that hits the ground in order to have a climate effect.
Not enough mana.
Extraterrestrial bodies come in all shapes and sizes. Meteors are small rocks which roam space, occasionally hitting planets, usually causing little damage. Asteroids are big meteors. When these things hit the Earth's surface, they explode, churning up vast amounts of dust. David Keyes asked an astrophysicist to calculate how big an impact would have been needed to generate a climatic catastrophe lasting at least a decade.
So what we can say is that the total number of particles in the atmosphere, because this is 1, then rho is around 1 over kappa L.
To cause a major climatic catastrophe that would last decades, we would need an impact by a rather large asteroid, say 4 kilometers across.
It would take an even bigger comet to create the same effect. A comet consists mainly of gas and ice. This gives them their distinctive tail as they move across the sky. Because they're less dense, Alan Fitzsimmons has calculated that it would take a 6-kilometer wide comet to affect our climate. Such a crash would have a spectacular effect on the planet.
When it was just over 2 days from impact, it would only be seen as a very faint star in the night sky. Now, as it approached us, as it got closer and closer, we'd slowly see it brighten and grow larger until about 30 minutes before impact. It would be about the brightest thing in the sky. By then, of course, we believe everybody would have noticed it, but we wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Now, the time it takes for that asteroid to travel from the top of the Earth's atmosphere until it reaches sea level is only 8 seconds.
That spell isn't ready yet. I can't cast that yet.
So we'd see this brilliant fireball, all the time, of course, making no sound because it's travelling about 20 times the speed of sound. The first sound we would hear would occur minutes after we see the huge flash of light when the asteroid strikes the Earth's surface and is instantly vaporized in a ginormous fireball.
Could this disaster have happened without at least one civilization noticing and... No civilization at the time records any such event. In addition, scientists have found no evidence of a crater left by an impact from the 6th century.
I mean, that's just yesterday. In geologic time, it'd be a big crater. We'd know about it. Certainly that happened 65 million years ago when the dinosaurs died. But I don't think it happened in the 6th century.
But the lack of a crater alone does not rule out a possible asteroid strike. 70% of the Earth is covered in water. Could it be that the impact was on the oceans?
If the asteroid landed in the ocean, then the initial wave caused by the impact would be miles high.
There would have been humongous tidal waves, pretty huge tidal waves that would have swamped the coasts for over the margins of whatever ocean it struck.
The tidal damage would have travelled miles inland. Again, no civilization recorded such an event. And scientists haven't detected any significant interruption to the growth of coastal plants at this period. There doesn't appear to be any evidence of an asteroid or comet strike on Earth at this time. The search seemed to be narrowing down to a volcano. But could there be another extraterrestrial explanation? This time, not a complete comet hitting the Earth, but one which had fragmented and scattered throughout the atmosphere. It's a theory Mike Bailey suggested to David Keyes.
Well, the bombardment event has been, if you like, classically defined as a large number of pieces of comet arriving in a short period of time and exploding in the atmosphere. And the model for that is the 1908 Tunguska impact over Siberia, which was a single object which probably caused about a 20 megaton equivalent size of explosion.
The 1908 Tunguska event was an example of an airburst explosion. A lightweight meteor hit the Earth's atmosphere and exploded in the air. While the shockwave caused massive local destruction, there weren't enough microfine particles released to affect the weather. But Mike Bailey believes that a whole shower of cometary debris hitting in a Tunguska-style event could affect the climate.
If you have a large number of those, you're going to just put a lot of material into the atmosphere, and you're going to cause a dust veil.
Mike Bailey believes that it's possible to use mythology to support his theory. He's analysed the life and death of one of the most famous legends of his time and reached an intriguing conclusion. 6th century Britain was supposedly the time of King Arthur. All the many later legends tell that Arthur lived in the west of Britain, and that as he grew old, his kingdom was reduced to a wasteland. Curiously, the legends give the date of Arthur's death as 539 or 542 AD, right in the middle of the climatic catastrophe. The legends also tell the terrible blows which rained down from the skies onto Arthur's people. Mike Bailey thinks that Arthur's death could therefore be a symbol of something that really did happen, devastation by a comet as it shattered and crashed into Earth.
Then you look at the mythology. You discover that Arthur isn't just someone in a suit of shining armour and some sitting around a round table. The origins of the stories are in the Celtic. And that one of the key figures that you can trace him back to is the Celtic god Lugh. That Lugh is a bright solar deity who curiously comes up in the west and has a long arm, which could well be the description of the comet. And Lugh also is famous for delivering terrible blows.
Could Bailey's myths hold a grain of truth? By a process of elimination, it now seems to come down to a clear choice: cometary bombardment or a volcano. But which? David Keyes discovered that there was one hostile area of the Earth which could just hold the final clue: the polar ice caps. For the past decade, a multinational team of scientists has been extracting 1,000-meter deep columns of ice from Greenland in the north and the Antarctic in the south. But in the same way trees put on a new ring of growth each season, the polar ice caps put on a fresh layer of snow. And in each layer is a record of what was in our atmosphere.
Chemistry of the old atmosphere is in there. And even the chemistry today is changing in our atmosphere. If we combine this, we can have a record which we can compare with other records from the deep sea sediments, from tree rings, from lakes. But the fantastic thing about the ice caps is that they are directly related to the atmosphere itself.
Professor Hammer's team are testing a new Greenland core from the 530s AD that has just arrived at the laboratory. If pieces of a comet or asteroid had exploded in the atmosphere, the team would expect to find traces of rare chemical elements like rhodium. If there had been a massive volcanic eruption, they would expect to find an excess of sulfuric acid, the telltale signature of a volcano. The sulfates would have been hurled up into the atmosphere by the explosion and scattered by the winds. They would have then got into rain and snow to be finally stored at the poles as ice.
And what we're going to do now is take a piece of ice out around 5:35 after rising. We will have to clean it a little roughly here first. We will now bring it into this setup here, where it will be cleaned in the end and on all sides, and then it will be cut by the steel knife, so that we are not touching the core. We have to remove quite a lot to be sure that we don't have any outside contamination.
The cleaned core is sliced into 5-centimeter lengths. Each length is then melted and analyzed.
That spell isn't it?
They will be measured one at a time, automatically, from now on, and the results will show up on the computer as grams.
So what does the ice contain? Cometary debris or platinum sulfates?
See the sulfate peak is increasing when I go to the next sample. That must be come from sulfuric acid in the atmosphere, and that's an indication that there's been a volcanic eruption.
And as the final result shows, it wasn't just any eruption.
I'll show you here is the sulfuric acid. And actually, these huge amount of sulfate here, lasting several years, and clearly higher than anything else in this part of the record, corresponds exactly to this around 535. So there's no doubt it's a major eruption.
The evidence from Greenland seemed conclusive. Lots of sulfates and no cometary debris. But for the eruption to have had worldwide consequences, more was needed.
If we want a climatic important major eruption, it must show up with a large signal in both hemispheres. At least you'll not see it in Antarctic ice cores, and you must see it in Greenland.
At the moment, information from the Antarctic ice core is less precise, but from their existing data, Professor Hammer's team already know that there is a volcanic signal in the Antarctic too.
We have a volcanic which lasts several years. We have an Antarctic core, similar evidence as in Greenland, but not as good, not as well dated, but indicating that this volcanic eruption could have taken place.
The data in both the North and South Poles is the same. A huge sulfur spike in the mid-6th century. That strongly suggests volcanic ash caused the global climate damage seen in tree rings. The idea of volcanoes causing climatic catastrophe may seem unfamiliar. But tree rings and ice cores now show that every 1,000 or so years, massive climate downturns happen. The mid-6th century event is simply the most recent. In fact, what surprises volcanologists is how few volcanic eruptions there have been in the last 100 years.
One of the amazing things, which people sometimes forget, even scientists, is that our century is one of the most quiet centuries with respect to volcanism. If you go back in time, in the 19th century, and 17th century, 18th century, there's a lot of volcanoes that come in lumps, say, 20 volcanoes, a lot of them. They even overlap in the stratosphere, mixing up. And it's not speculation, but people do think that Turner's paintings with his sunsets, it was not the taste of the artist to make them so red as they were, but they were actually painted in a time when the real sunset.
We live on this planet with over 200 active volcanoes. They may have been quite recently, but a really massive eruption can turn the climate upside down. To create a dust veil that spreads all around the world, the eruption has to happen near the equator, as only equatorial winds can spread dust over both hemispheres. But there are over 90 equatorial volcanoes. Could David Keyes discover which one caused the mayhem of the 6th century? David Keyes began to narrow the search for the 6th century volcano. He knew that the highest concentration by far of large tropical volcanoes lies in parts straddling Southeast Asia, from India through Sumatra, Java, the Philippines and Japan. First, he turned to the greatest civilization near this area, which was then producing written records, China.
I, in great excitement, started looking to see if there was any trace of anything happening. And in fact, in February 535, there's a record of a loud bang, a huge thunderous sound coming from the southwest. And with this one, lightning, or merely a rather sort of mysterious outflow, they only referred to the sort of thunderous noise. And interestingly, it points straight towards that Indonesian area where all those volcanoes are.
For the Chinese to have bothered to record such a sound must have been an exceptional one-off. But could the sound of a volcanic eruption have travelled 3,000 miles from Indonesia to China? To help locate the volcano, Keyes asked experts at Los Alamos Laboratory in New Mexico to explain the physics of long-range sound travel.
We know that near the volcano, the sudden explosive eruption provides a shock wave in the field, and that propagates out, going out to thousands of miles. But as it propagates out, you lose the high frequencies, the shock, very sudden, sharp reports of the volcanoes, and all you're left with are the low frequencies that we measure in what we call infrasonic, which is generally below 10 cycles per second. The long-range perception of that sound would be very low rumbling, much like very distant thunder.
The Los Alamos experts had said it was possible. Now, please find any written evidence from Indonesia.
Not enough mana. My mind is slow.
Unfortunately, very little writing survives. But once again, he found a fascinating tale. Housed in the Royal Palace at Solo in central Java is a massive set of manuscript volumes called the Book of Kings, put together in the 1850s, but based on ancient sources. It describes an extraordinary event which took place around the middle of the first millennium AD. Today's Javanese royal archivist, Prince Puja, reads from the original text. A mighty thunder, which was answered by a furious shaking of the earth. Pitch darkness, thunder and lightning, and then came forth a furious gale, together with a hard rain. A deadly storm darkening the entire world. In no time there came a great flood. When the water subsided, it could be seen that the island of Java had been split in two, thus creating the island of Sumatra. Had Keyes struck gold with the Book of Kings? Geophysicists he consulted said the story accurately described a major volcanic eruption and would have been difficult to invent. But which of the many Indonesian volcanoes was the Book of Kings describing? There was a clue. The only major volcano in that specific area between the islands of Sumatra and Java is the legendary Krakatoa, the world's most notorious volcano, which last erupted in 1883. But could Keyes prove Krakatoa was the culprit? An Icelandic volcanologist, Professor Haraldur Sigurdsson, now working in the USA, joined the chase. He had visited the volcano many times and already knew that Krakatoa contained an ancient mystery, an eruption long ago far bigger than anything recorded in modern times.
About 5 years ago, when we were doing research on the 1883 volcanic eruption of Krakatoa, we discovered this deposit of a major eruption. And so we became very interested in this deposit, but at the time we didn't have the time and resources to study it in detail. So what we really want to do is ideally find charcoal within this layer or charcoal immediately above and immediately below it in order to give us a date of the event.
It was an irresistible temptation. David Keyes' ingenuity had led us this far. We had to go on. Channel 4 decided to finance an expedition to Java by Professor Sigurdsson.
Charging.
His goal, to test Keyes' theory by dating Krakatoa's major eruption. Krakatoa is part of a group of uninhabited rainforest islands lying west of Java and just south of the equator. It's also the scene of the most famous volcanic eruption of recent times. In 1883, Krakatoa blew itself apart, killing 36,000 people on the mainland. The first stop for Professor Sigurdsson and his team will be the island of Anak Krakatoa, meaning Child Krakatoa. Anak has formed entirely since the eruption of 1883 and grown up into a 1,000-foot-high volcanic island. Each year, Anak becomes ever bigger and ever more dangerous.
Now, actually, when you get up from them, these rocks are the size of houses, and 5-6 meters in diameter. And these were ejected by the explosions of Anak, and they travel through the air like a bomb, basically, and they fall to the ground, and when they hit the ground, they create a crater.
Well, this is about as big as they come. This one must be 2 meters high. What do you think, about 4 meters wide?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That's a big bomb. Hard to imagine this thing flying through the air, landing here, hearing an explosion, clunking down and creating this crater that it sits in. This one is a good one because you can hide behind it in an explosion and take shelter. Let's hope they don't land like this today. It'll be very dangerous.
Anak Krakatoa is a noisy and quarrelsome child. Only 2 hours after the team pushed off from the island, Anak let rip, hurtling rocks and lava into the area where we had stood. From the safety of the sea, it was possible to gaze back at one of the greatest fireworks shows on Earth. This activity is just part of a cycle that's been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. Krakatoa grows up out of the sea. Every little eruption adds more and more rock to the island. Eventually it gets so large, it blows itself apart. This time, Anak continued its barrage throughout the night, on into the thick dust of the next tropical morning. But Sigurdsson's task is to journey back in time, hundreds of years back, long before Anak Krakatoa was born. For decades, scientists have thought that Krakatoa contains a centuries-old secret. Illustrations from a 1920s book show a possible pattern. First, there was ancient Krakatoa, which exploded, possibly around 535, leaving islands behind which eventually, with occasional minor eruptions, grew back to the Krakatoa of 1883. This in turn blew up, leaving the Krakatoa Islands of today. Sigurdsson's last survey of the islands seems to confirm this. 5 years ago, he charted the ocean floor using sonar. The charts show the outlines of a caldera, the term for a giant crater left after a massive volcanic explosion.
There's a structure out here in the ocean, a circular structure, which is much larger in diameter, and it is possible that this buried feature, circular feature that we see here to the north and the east, may in fact be a gigantic ancient caldera of Krakatoa. Well, we must be right on the edge here.
So can Sigurdsson find any hard evidence to date this eruption of ancient Krakatoa? Such evidence is only contained in charcoal, which is formed when hot lava instantly carbonizes trees. The charcoal can then be carbon dated in the laboratory. To get an exact date, Sigurdsson must find charcoal from the major eruption layer, which is on the islands around Anak Krakatoa.
It's a vertical drop.
Failing that, he could also narrow the margin if he finds charcoal in the layers above and below. Looking for charcoal is like looking for a needle in a haystack, and a lot more dangerous.
Right in the middle of the major pyroclastic deposit that is formed by a very large eruption of Krakatoa. Now this is very likely to be the deposit that was created by a eruption possibly in the 6th century AD, and this is the one I'd really like to get some charcoal from so we can date this very important event. Now we'd be very lucky to find charcoal, but I'm going to keep digging around here a little bit and see what we got.
The material in the layers of Krakatoa spans hundreds of thousands of years. Even narrowing down the date of the major ancient eruption to within a few thousand years would be a big stride forward.
Often it's extremely difficult to find charcoal. You might think that there would be a lot of burnt wood or carbonized trees here because it's a tropical environment. But many volcanoes are barren because there's so much activity that the vegetation and the forest doesn't really get established. We've had a lot of problem with finding charcoal in this particular deposit, but we must keep in mind that there are only small pieces of the island sticking up above sea level, so we have a very small area to prospect.
During the first night he was in Krakatoa, Professor Sigurdsson was only able to find 10 charcoal samples. He was unable to find a charcoal sample big enough to date from the major eruption layer. However, he was able to find good samples of the layer immediately above it and a few levels below it. It will now be possible to see whether 535 falls between those dates. If it does not, David Keyes' theory will fall. 6 weeks later, the carbon dating analysis is completed. Professor Sigurdsson faxes the results and an accompanying report to David Keyes.
Yeah.
So what's his assessment?
That's really good news.
The results show that the layer immediately above the major eruption is dated as 1215 AD. A layer several layers below it is dated as 6600 BC.
If you look at this in detail over here, then we have this picture. We have 1250 AD right on top here in this deposit. Then we have the major eruption.
Not enough mana.
Deposit right underneath it. And then we have about 5 layers. And then down here we have the charcoal, and we dated as 6600 BC. So in here we have quite a period of activity and development of the volcano, possibly several thousand years. And that leads us to think that the event is much closer to 1215 AD as opposed to 6600. That span still covers the 535 AD event, so it doesn't rule it out at all. In fact, I think as a result of this, we are focusing more and more in on that time frame.
The lead period, the lead option, if you like, for when the major eruption that we're talking about took place was the first millennium AD. So although technically it can be anything between 6600 BC and 1300 AD, all the other pieces of evidence that he's got suggest that it's actually, you can narrow that down to a period, let's say, 0 to 1000. 535 is marvellously right in the middle. So I think that it's looking good.
David Keyes' 5 years of detective work suggest that there is overwhelming evidence of a massive volcanic eruption around 535 AD in the tropics. Krakatoa is now the most likely culprit. The volcano that did go up in 535 AD would have produced a dust cloud that enveloped the world. It would have been one of the most dangerous spectacles ever seen. A 30-mile-high column of ash and dust brought global climatic catastrophe. Darkness, drought, frost, and famine. And ultimately, chaos. It was a natural catastrophe that would change the course of human history.
Inventory is full. Can't carry anymore. Inventory is full.
In 535 AD, scientific evidence suggests that a massive volcano erupted in the tropics. It threw up so much ash that it turned summer to winter. Crops failed for years. Drought and famine gripped the land. Millions died. For the last 5 years, David Keyes, a writer on history and archaeology, has immersed himself in this worldwide climatic catastrophe. By consulting historians, scientists, and in particular volcanologists, Keyes has concluded that the most likely culprit was the notorious volcano Krakatoa. An expedition to Krakatoa, which lies off the coast of Indonesia, further supported his theory. But Keyes believes that the eruption, the biggest in the last 1500 years, was only the beginning. What followed was over 100 years of upheaval that would change the course of human history forever.
Inventory is...
So what would the volcanic eruption of 1,500 years ago have been like?
The amount of power generated by this eruption would have been equivalent to around 2,000 million Hiroshima-sized nuclear bombs.
The eruption of this ancient Krakatoa is something mankind has never witnessed, perhaps tens, hundreds of times larger than any volcano that's ever been witnessed.
Inventory is...
David Keyes asked volcanologist Dr. Ken Willets, an expert on Krakatoa, to feed all the available data about 6th century climate change into a supercomputer to simulate how the explosion began to unfold.
I will start the simulation and will show several phases of the eruption.
Willets has located the eruption in the Sunda Straits between Java and Sumatra. By combining tree ring and ice core data with eyewitness accounts of the dimming of the sun, it's possible to estimate how much material might have been thrown up into the Earth's atmosphere. With that figure, it's possible to calculate the scale and power of the explosion and associated after effects. Using Willets' model, we have reconstructed the Krakatoa 535 AD Big Bang. A giant red-hot fountain of molten rock and a vast cloud of ash towered over the countryside. Then, a second crack would have let seawater in. This caused an absolutely vast explosion, creating a 30-mile-high fountain of magma, dust, and ash. Up to 1,000 miles away, ash rained down on forests and fields.
The towering clouds of steam and gas and ash pierced and shot upwards, and at times when it seemed like it could go no higher, it would continue to go high. Eventually to the point where it started to block out the sun in all directions. And this gray-white cloud would then see this sort of move laterally across the sky like a mushroom cloud.
The fallout from the eruption would have been the natural equivalent of nuclear winter. So how did Krakatoa affect the world? Ken Willets has studied Krakatoa in detail, and he can see similarities between it and a huge dormant volcano near his laboratory, high in the hills of New Mexico.
Can't start yet.
The 15-mile-wide volcanic crater, Campbell, at Valle Grande, New Mexico, last exploded 1 million years ago. Ash from here landed as far away as Louisiana. Using the remains of Valle Grande, Ken shows how high-flying volcanic ash blocks out the sun.
This is ultrafine volcanic ash formed by Phreatoplenian eruptions similar to what we think happened in the 6th century at Krakatoa.
But oh, so satisfying.
Card tricks?
Yes.
A student offer that gives you money and also gives
gives to others. Get $60 when you open an RBC student bank account, and we'll give another $60 to a charity of your choice.
You only save her once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just do 2 runs.
When I needed to get them classic, I saved Princess 7 times before any.
I'm gonna raise that goal count, my dude. Yo, it looks like it, doesn't it, Jalen?
They murder her in her sleep in her disorder.
Alright, Conus, it's all you.
Yeah, the reason I'm here. Woo!
Proceeds to
It's definitely not. Yeah, it's definitely not for the ability for you to take more loot from it.
I heard PER's on res.
Inventory.
Probably well leveled up if needed.
I'm out of range.
Don't get me started on my buddy the Paladin.
Was that you? Was that you that you stole your ring, dude? I was watching that shit.
A double rogue hunter druid paladin group, and he took the ring.
Alright, you wanna go do some sappy sap?
Charging. 2, 1, sap.
Not enough mana.
And he has not done. He's not too friendly with him. It's just like his logic made sense in the sun.
No, there isn't good logic for that.
That's bad logic. Right.
Do the trap next. Do trap.
His logic was, I need it for leveling. I'm a paladin. Life is hard.
That's not good logic.
But I think everyone else thinks it should. I was like, whatever. It's a fucking leveling dungeon. I'm just here for XP.
Inventory is. Can't that yet.
It's cushy. It's a cushy. Well, that's why I just give him shit every time I go to his stream.
I need a power. I can't carry it.
Yeah, that goal got completely destroyed.
So
I guess
you were in that PRD with Carr then.
Yeah.
Yep, I was also in that PRD with Carr when he was assassinated.
48-60 on PAL sounds terrible solo. I mean, it's slow, but it doesn't. It's not like a Blackstone ring is gonna make it better, right?
Unfortunate death.
It was inexperience or just not being tired or something along those lines.
Alright, you guys all chill back here.
I just had such a hard time looking at the healer press Blessing of Protection while the guy's being chased by
you guys are good to come up.
by fire elemental.
Yeah, but that's not why he died. But like, yeah, it was definitely not the.
There's a trap on the right wall. Just want to pull him into the trap.
It's Apex's first time playing a paladin, so like he didn't quite comprehend.
Should I do bite and claw? Nah. Well, for leveling, you really just want to focus on bite and have your bite and growl on auto.
Did these captains do anything I need to know about?
They fear.
I can dispel. I'm not worried about
No
it.
DM ring, I'd agree, but 2 Elven is
Yeah,
nice.
maybe
Oh, that's
not
true.
just-
But still, like, it still shouldn't go to a paladin over. I'm pretty sure there was a hunter, a rogue, a warrior in that group, right?
Inventory is.
Like, I don't think that should have ever gone to a.
Tyrannosaur, why are you just standing there?
Because the ogres don't have a ranged weapon animation.
It's like, man, this guy's out Get carried, Tyrannosaur.
Standing still, dude. This guy's pets out
You see the meters?
This guy's pets out DPS.
There are a ton of people that don't fit the
I see
bill.
the meters. It's saying, you're not even on the meter, man.
Do you have healing pulled up? Is that
You're
why?
not even on the meter, man.
Yeah, I don't heal.
That's all Hooters. How did I heal? What did I heal?
I don't know.
You probably.
Look at my sweet potion heal.
Luke Council Law Dungeon? I mean, maybe. Yeah, you can just pull these.
Yeah, go for it.
I wouldn't pull it while they're like ranges.
Yeah, just pull them when you come. When you start moving.
So what's happening
clicked
there?
it on the goddamn. Okay.
Yo, where's all the mage AoE? What's happening?
I'm sorry. I was clipping on the campfire.
Light be with you.
Hello, Blizzard Physics.
Greetings. Light bless you.
Jeez.
Sorry about that.
You need
There's nothing like AoE farming in the open world when it clips on a tree and
Can
you
I help
die.
you?
The variants for my succubus quest, and I
Looks
just
cool,
forgot I'm
though.
ally. I almost
You know
walked
how
straight to
the Blizzard just
Crossroads.
get 1 point?
Dude, a few people did that early on. I don't know how many, if anyone's done it recently, but a few people have done that. You know who will be tanking the first 2 giants? Probably, like Ompi and, I don't know who the off tank is gonna be. Lemur was gonna be one of the tanks.
Be careful.
Are we killing these guys?
Yeah, might as well.
Hey there.
Okay.
The boss is a nasty knockback. I don't
See
want
you around.
anyone kicked him in it.
If I get knocked back into an army of ogres, I am. Whew, that's gonna be tough.
You can go get Skull. Go get Skull. Go. Why is he?
Greetings. Farewell.
Parla maybe? Oh yeah, maybe Parla.
Well met.
Graze won't be there. Graze has a wedding.
Safe travels.
Another wedding. Yes, that's right. Graze is going to yet another wedding. Oh, that just missed. I'm so confused. Yeah, so probably is Ompi even geared? Yo, Ompi is incredibly geared. Ompi has been playing a ton. He just hasn't been streaming. So many people are just like, yo, I feel like Ompi's not even doing the challenge anymore. Ompi has like almost full pre-red bis. He might even have full pre-red bis. I'm not sure.
There we go.
Still recharging.
Oh, alright, so toss it.
No, the ones. So I'm gonna put my pet on the ad. You can just like toss some heals and stuff on it. We'll just focus King Gordon.
Alright, is there any... Should I tank him against a pillar or rock?
He doesn't knock you back. He knocks a random one of us back.
Yeah, just...
I would not go. Don't. What are you doing?
What are you talking about? The healer, the tank, the refuge? What else is important?
Yeah, seriously.
We have DPS?
Oh.
The off tank wasn't there. Alright, you can go. Just make sure if you're a DPS or healer, your back is not to the mobs that we skipped.
Can you pull King Gordon? Where are you from?
Jeez. Yo, these ogre gun animations are the best. For
Hello.
sure.
See you around.
Will this... No. Doubt. I'm not gonna be the one to loot it. Yep. Ah!
Use either of those things.
Good day to you.
I'm pretty sure the ones I have are better. I don't know. 5 stamp for 17 strength is worth it.
I hate this dungeon, man.
As well.
Hey, it's trying to sell them.
Hey, there it is. There it is. Ooh, and a redoubt cloak. That's nice.
Will we win the ring, though?
I don't see the potions, but I would love me some mana potions.
See you later.
For whoever
You
got
need
it.
something?
Are you gonna be sad if I need on the ring, Tyrannosaur?
They'll be
No.
incredibly sad.
You're here. You should roll on loot.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Tyrannosaur really wants to prove that he can win a roll.
Hey, I
There
rolled
it
a
is.
1 just for you.
Yo, we got a ring, guys.
I think he really needed that win.
We got a ring.
Is it okay if I roll for the cloak?
Yes, choosers are redeemed.
Oh, please,
Yeah,
go
that's
for
fine.
it, man. I can't
Also, make sure
imagine
you
I
guys
lost money.
talk to this dude and get the king buff before we run out.
Also, I'm gonna roll need on the bow just because it has stem on it, and I think that's probably.
Oh, my bow.
We got one.
I don't mind.
Have a good one.
It's not,
If you need it for take it.
it's not the thing that I want, but here we are.
As much as possible.
I too, once as much as possible.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Groovy.
I will deal with
Yo,
Get
Winterberg.
away with the strat. I like
I recognize that name.
Exactly. I am a CC rogue. That is my purpose.
Double tarnished Elven. Everyone got
But
the
I want to
boof?
replace that terrible, terrible gun I had.
What's happening?
But now I have no ammo, so.
And we're getting buffs now, and we're doing
let's
first
go.
level again or something?
Yeah, first boss. If you guys want to do another tribute, we can. Up to you guys.
I mean, I'm
Do
okay
you
with
need
it.
anything else, Lorenzo?
What?
Blade.
He needs a sword.
I need the main reason I came here.
Yeah. Then let's
I
do
also,
it.
I'm pretty sure Rod's.
I would hope you know that name. Yo, how you doing, Wendy?
I'll take it.
Guys, we won
Rod
loot.
is very good. It's because it's like a higher tier than the regular dungeons, because DM is like added afterwards.
I don't know if it's Is it through this? I don't know if it is.
All right.
Rod.
The
Oh, I don't need rings.
It's good.
Just need that damn sword.
What was it?
Would you
It's
be a
definitely
famous
up
streamer?
there in
Ah,
the
something,
top.
something, maybe.
If it's not the top.
It's been a wild ride the last like month. It's been about a month now
That's
of
one
this
star
craziness.
Skull Knights? Yeah,
I
that's
love
Everyone wants to just play Hunter. First time really tuning in today. Yes, I almost exclusively play Hunter.
It's upstairs. It's upstairs.
Oh, it's hidden behind this guy. Yeah. What's up, friends?
Yeah.
I'm just borrowing this.
My shoulders better than
Worry about
tier 0. Yes, they are. Yeah, tier 0 shoulders are pretty garbage unless you're using them for like the set bonus.
Alright.
989 stam, it's farming gear for anyone who wants it.
I got the
Actually, quite a good.
Go with
stand.
Wait, where's Comus going? You running all the way around?
Far superior.
Ah, man!
Yeah, so I'm just gonna follow you for a moment. I'll be right back.
Okay. Want to see Duran plays? Check his LBRS run. Yo, that's not me. Don't put that on me.
I am a real brainiac, apparently.
What is the sword I'm after? Barbarous Blade.
I found the captain.
Barbarous Blade is the sword that I'm after.
Dude, does Captain Prawn Crush and Guard Fengus, do they
It would
fight?
be a 30 AP increase from what I'm currently rocking.
Also, I've never gotten
Need
the Captain
help?
Prawn
1
Crush
to
buff.
equal
Didn't
keybinds.
like
Farewell.
me, does he?
Huh?
They all either do nothing or give you a buff.
Question probably needs to get this buff. Oh, there we go.
I'm back.
Oh, right, yeah, you talked to this guy for a quest. That's what it is.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got a
why
quest.
not?
I gotta get 25 agi on it? Yes. If I get Barbarous Blade, then I'll farm out the Mets for 25 agi, for sure. 100%. Alliance? Yo, sorry, Wendy. That's just where we're at. That's what we're doing.
What does he say if you say, what have you got for me? He just goes like, nothing.
Hey, Conus.
Yeah.
What?
We're, I don't know how much you know about what we're doing.
Yes, I was
Yo,
trying to
is that
find
Link
you.
at Craig?
Where are you?
It might be.
No, that's why I can't find you. You're miles away.
Oh yeah, so we're doing...
Je jure de ne jamais dire de mots qui ne soient vrais et de ne jamais utiliser le pouvoir de l'unique comme une arme. Le ténébreux se réveille, mais il y en aura un qui s'élèvera contre lui. Votre vie ne sera pas celle que vous imaginiez.
Qu'allons-nous faire?
Protéger ceux que nous aimons, quel qu'en soit le prix.
Oh, it's a one stat upgrade.
Congrats,
drink.
man.
Quick drink. I'm gonna drink, hold on. Pom, pom.
Pom, 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 pom.
Guys, what dungeon are we doing after? Chat, what dungeon are we doing after? Where are we going? We need
Gotta make sure all this stuff is done.
Oh fuck! I got exploded. I'm sorry. Chat, this is my Swifty dealer right here. This is my Swifty dealer. He's the boy. He's the plug. You gonna get a lot of Swifty when you get her? I mean, yeah, sure. Like, definitely. I will for sure.
So if you jump up on here with your pet, it'll run down to the next room.
Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Why do you have a cast? Because I don't think that we're gonna do the T5 chest anytime soon.
Oh, so that's what it is?
We might be doing it later, but right now we're not.
On the gate, right?
See you around. Because the boss is
Right
too
up on the
monetized a
screen.
little bit.
These guys counter spell for like 15 seconds.
So that is why I want Katarus.
Oh, did they fix it? No, there it goes.
Oh, does it just pop up and down? Is that what it does?
You'll go down to that bottom room.
I need the elm,
he's
but
gone.
He'll fool
the elm
everyone.
is only like a backup.
Which is why we clear bottom first, boys.
The elm is like only a backup
I'm gonna try to LTP as
to
well.
Wait.
Let me rebuff.
Let me man up here, boys.
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, we also need a mark too. Like...
Let me switch out my trick.
Fuck you guys, I'm starting.
what starts it?
Let him die.
Get fuck idiots. Hello. Dude, you bumped me! I was... No! No, I was bumping. No! You fucking bumped me!
This is certainly one way to mess around in hardcore.
You didn't kick that heal.
Fuck that, it's a DPS loss, you guys already
He
griefed
gives
me.
him time to catch up on the meters, dude.
Please, one crit, that's all I'm asking, please!
He doesn't need to catch up on the meters. He started the...
I got bumped, man, you fucking griefer.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you.
Wait, are we gonna get a piece of gear here? Like,
we've gotten like 3 pieces from these bosses. What do you mean? That's like really good.
Gamba guy, you guys with your Gamba, boy.
what we got?
Prediction.
I almost jumped.
The boots and what else?
We got a Libram, boots, and the hammer.
I don't know. Fucking Gamba, man. Gamba. Wouldn't be bad if we bought 2 Greater Shadow Pride everyone and the biggest pumper nigga? Yeah. Yeah, of course. I totally agree on that. I think it's like doable with 10 really good players. Alright. Number 1 DPS gets 5 gold. Okay, we all give 5 gold to the number 1 DPS, even the patty.
Okay.
I'm popping my pots.
Oh. Alright. I'm trapped.
Exposed?
Shadow portal. Can we decurse that?
No, dude.
No. Okay.
I got a parse. I need like 1 more crit. Oh no, he's...
No!
Yes!
No! I got grief!
I'm gonna stop DPS.
Please! I'm running. No, the fucking skeleton. Did someone die?
Where is he?
I'm jumping. Oh. Yes.
Crit!
Yes.
Crit!
Yes.
No. Doesn't Avi need that helmet?
I'll take it. Thank you, though.
Tombstone now.
Pretty good
So
arrow
what?
chest.
You have to give yourself 5 gold. I forgot to have my Greater Arcane.
Unlucky, boys. The Tombstone can be 10 AP to crit. Do you want 10 AP to crit or not?
Good run, boys. Does anyone have a blood?
What'd you say?
Actually,
gargoyle by
yeah.
chance?
I don't know.
You get one if you finish the quest, yeah?
I got. Yes, I do have one in my bank. You guys can like summon me, and then we can do it.
I forgot to burn the body. I guess.
It's in the butcher's room.
Yeah. My bits boots, I'm pretty sure drop.
Yeah, let me get out. I mean,
what do you guys want to do?
Let me art, let me art, and
I'll port you. Don't use your art.
I'd like to.
King's Honor, friend.
My boots drop.
Just some. Guys, ready?
Anything else?
3,
This or are we done?
2,
Run it back and down to. I pretty much.
1.
Oh, it's a pad. Nice.
I really need the shoulders, but I don't know. I can run anything.
It's a pad.
I'm gonna pick Mount Baby.
I mean, there's gonna be a bunch of pads. Pads respawn in like 20 minutes.
I'm gonna follow you, Liam.
Look at this.
I got to kill this one.
We're a blue boy.
So, has any of you guys ran Ulda when you were leveling up?
Yeah.
You guys know the quest with the key? Like, what if one person picks up one key and another? You can't trade.
You wouldn't be able to do it. So what we did is we literally went and said no one loot the box, and we went and killed the guy who drops the.
Vroom vroom, boys.
And then we had them
We are
go
fast
back.
now.
We even discussed it.
Need more faith.
No, you've been traded. I traded.
Oh well.
Well, that's illegal, but I mean, I guess.
Get him invalidated, boys. Here.
I'm clipping that.
I'll take some.
Well, that was how.
Uh-oh.
I'm sending that straight to Cargos, dude.
You don't have to.
I guess
saw, Summit accepted a Hellstone in a trade yesterday. I wonder how strict they are with that shit, because he deleted it right afterwards.
That wasn't yesterday, was it?
Yeah, it was last night.
I think if you delete it and you're on stream, they gave. I'm pretty sure Stacy.
Well met.
I
Alright, we got the blood, and now we're just gonna get some.
I can't trade water until level 60.
Oh look, now I have Jandis.
Chat, look at this, man. We are fuck. This is a hardcore one life character.
Now I have to kill
How
Cargos
crazy
to
it
get
is.
a hero, bro, so it's fine.
How fucking crazy it is.
Good day to you. Have a good one.
Someone eat something.
What the hell is that?
Sounds like a spoon in a bowl.
Cereal, maybe?
Maybe some cereal.
You're vending?
You know how many Blood of Hero spawns are in this fucking little area?
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot in Skull.
But like, I swear, I have seen way more fallen heroes in EPL than WPL.
I'm afraid of these lights.
I saw some 55 hardcore people here, like, in EPL, and I was like, what are you doing?
I swear to speak no word that is not true, and never to use the One Power as a weapon. The Dark One's army is coming, but there will be one who can stand against him. Your life isn't going to be what you thought.
What can we do?
We protect the people we love.
I recently switched to Secret Aluminum-Free deodorant, and I love it. Not only is it paraben and aluminum-free, but also
something
PETA
like that.
certified cruelty-free. If you were considered...
Okay, let's get this guy out of here. It doesn't look like that guy's spawning instantly. Even if he does, at least we'll have an out over here. Oh, no, dude. No way you see that.
Bro, one more act to lead. Even though it's the last one, it like takes forever.
Dude, no way, man. Stop being against what you're supposed to do, okay? Please? Thank you, boss. Fucking ass. Fuck, I didn't do it right. It's okay, though. Doesn't seem like their spawn rate is insane, which is good. Some places you'll go into, their spawn rate is just fucking bonkers. Yeah, I don't like that. I like this. I like this. A nice little pat. Nothing else is gonna be coming, I don't think. Nice little pat. What? Fuck. Okay, we don't want to. We want to make sure this guy can't run this way, so we're gonna back it up a little bit. We're okay. Give him the eviscerate. Yeah, good. We got a food? Oh fuck! I'm like straight up out of food.
Bro, drop me an axe.
I need to kill 7 more champions. I'm fucking deep,
that
dog.
cave, bro. Fuck that cave. That shit's a scam, bro.
What can I do for you? Have a good one.
19 charges, okay. Jason, I can't answer right now. We're in a sticky sitch, dog. Let me concentrate here. I'll call you back. Healing potion, fatty healing potion, dog. Where'd it go? I think we use that if shit really hits the fan. We're gonna try to, man. I'm thinking I sap this guy, I kill the pet. That's what I'm thinking.
Got my axe. I'm out this bitch.
Nice, fucking beautiful. I hear that noise and I get scared, chat, like I just lost my fucking weapon. Damn, I just realized he was level 25. Just relax, get the fuck into thistle, or no, I'm not even thistle here, we're good.
What can I do for the Alliance?
We can't thistle anyways, okay. It's looking fucking solid so far.
Light blessing. Safe travels. Yes. Be careful.
If you want the truth, Nia,
King's honor, friend.
you're going to have to follow me.
Time to fly. The Matrix Resurrections.
Is this thing really necessary?
Well met. Light bless you.
Well, now that I'm managing our investments online, we can't afford to miss anything.
Open for business.
When you invest online with BMO Advice Direct, you don't need to stay glued to a screen. You get personalized advice, alerts if something needs attention, and an Advice Direct advisor is just a call away.
Well, that settles it. Hello, BMO?
Goodbye, Lightmare.
That feeling you get when you invest with confidence. That's the BMO effect.
Some people have to pay conversion fees every time they trade US stocks. Thanks, but no thanks. With Questrade, you don't have to.
Beautiful, beautiful. 5 more. For those dudes. Let's see if there's any more back here.
Yo, did you hear when I said I can make 8 slot bags now?
Oh, no shit. Good fucking shit, brother. That's huge, actually. You're about to be, yeah, you're about to be pretty set with that kind of stuff. That's nice.
Got all 8 slots. It only takes us like 2 bolts of will cloth.
I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I'm gonna have to pump this dude. Oh no.
It's almost worth literally just leveling it up to do so bags.
What's that?
Said it's almost worth just leveling it up to give yourself bags.
You're not wrong. All of a sudden, we got ourselves a 1v1. It's good. Sapping, quite fucking handy. It is. Nice. It's enraged. I had a fucking disarm there. Beautiful. The tick. He's a level 25, so you have to be careful here. How many more do I need? Alright, I need 3 more champions. This guy's killing these guys.
Tell you what, dude, a rogue's about the only thing that'll go in there besides the druid on hardcore. Nobody wants to get stuck in that place.
This one's not too bad, I'll be honest with you. This one's not too bad. It's because they're not that... They stack on each other a little bit. But, for the most part, they're pretty spread out. And they don't spawn like crazy fast, you know?
So they only spawn as fast as you kill them, right? So, like, if you kill shit really, really fast, it'll spawn really fast.
No. You, in so many places, shit spawns fucking fast, dude. You have no idea. It's nuts. Like, you'll kill a guy, and another one will be spawning there, or he'll be spawning back within, like, 15 seconds, dude. 20 seconds. Not, like, no exaggeration there, you know?
Doesn't how fast you kill though have a lot to do with it too? The timer?
Well, of course. I mean, it's just logical, man.
Well, no, like, I know there's a mechanic where, like, that's why, like, AoE groups, they'll kill everything.
Oh, that's why shit spawns back faster? Yeah, if you kill shit super quick, then they come back a little bit quicker. Yeah, I guess so. Maybe somebody's, like, wiping a cave up so badly, that's why it spawns back quick. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I just need one more fucking champion, dude. Let's go. There's a quest giver in here, yo. I'm not doing it. Here, never mind. No escorts today, boys.
Come on, bro. Escort him. Feeling brave?
No, not that brave. Last champion right here. Oh, man. Everyone spawned again, though, yo.
How are you? Safe travel.
Just not gonna deal with it, not gonna risk it. Get out of here. Banish just came off cooldown, so fuck it. No, my warrior's still alive. Looking good. Yeah, I'm feeling good about being a rogue right about now.
Yeah, I bet you are. Because anybody else would have been death right there.
Or just hearth out, chat. Let's just hearth out. Be safe. Safe. Real safe. Oh, dude, this guy's bringing the wave. This guy might die here. Oh my gosh. Got fucking close. I'm not risking myself for him.
Well met.
He's gone. You got it.
For the Alliance.
Scary.
Need something?
Oh, he's still getting hit, though.
Greetings.
Oh, it's his pet. That's the most suspect guy.
He should be glad there's people there because he could just be running right now into more spawns and more spawns.
Yeah, honestly, he's lucky that some of this area was cleared.
That's it. It's over.
You know what? Let's go this way. Nah, we can leave this way. We're just... I just don't want to get caught by these guys coming back or some weird shit happens where I aggro. Those motherfuckers. Oh, next to the boss, brother. Alright. What level was that guy? Chat? 13? Is that him? Is that dead? People are flopping, dude. Yeah, make sure you live, Judd. You got this shit, brother. You're doing good. Make sure you live, motherfucker. You done made it too far to die here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'll help him a little bit, you know? That mage wasn't hardcore. It's all good. Okay. Nice. That's gonna get your ass killed. Come on, bro. That was me hitting that guy with a passing. What's it called? It's not gonna go good there. Gouge.
What can I do for you? See you around. How are you? See you later.
Even hardcore, bro? Are you, bro? Bro. You gotta get the condor meat now. That should be easy enough. Imagine if this game came out 16 years ago, dude. Yeah, it'd probably been the #1 MMO out there. Fuck. Missed opportunity. I don't know if I want to fuck with Murlocs or not. It is lower level though. 21. I just handled like the 24 guy right there, you know, so definitely not going for that. Go for the Condor. You can honestly, dude, these are 23. Honestly, I feel like we just handled one of the harder quests. Minus the elite ones. That guy. Probably should have waited till I got the 25 off of some other quests before I went in to kill those champions, to be honest. Would have been better. Druid, 28 Druid, bro. Damn. That's pain right there, boys. That's a rough go, man. It is what it is. Fresh avocado. Fresh avocado. Don't go nowhere, my friend. Uh-oh, boys. Wait, I'm still on Lin. No, I'm on Clawflings. Wool on this guy. I'm getting my warriors mixed up. I'm getting my warrior mixed up with my rogue here. No! Spider meat. Oh, I thought I was trying to get the dick. The ibbity ick. The ibbity. The shibbity. Chat, poison's expensive to make. I actually kind of forgot. They weren't, right? They're pretty cheap, I think. Just like seeing how much I want to like have my poison. You pickpocket them for the lock boxes you get? Okay, hold on.
We're pushing it though, dude. We've gotten a lot farther than most of us thought we would.
Yeah, but I would.
Go on.
What do you pickpocket? No pockets to pick. Humanoids. Okay, that's okay. You're confusing me. You pickpocket unopened boxes. Okay, gotcha. To get my, that's how I level my pickpocketing, or my lockpicking skills. You can, but it's not the only way. Okay. Man, I don't like the whole pickpocket thing, man. I don't want to have a window pop up every single time like I fucking do something, you know? There's a mega fast auto loot add-on where you don't even see the pop-up. It's speedy auto loot on Curse. On Curse. So I need to get a different add-on for it, essentially. There we go. There we go. Why is this not working? There we go. This one. I need spiders and condors in 3 and 5 form. Beatrix Plus does it as well. Okay. You play No Pixel? If not, log on. Wait, what? What you talk about, Willis? Oops, I didn't mean to get 3 points on him. I'm not worried about the condors that much. They seem to spawn down here while I'm farming the spiders, so it works out. I mean, my lockpicking's already at 100. It's pretty decent. 102. Disarmed the spider. Law picking in a sawmill. Chat, how the fuck do you think I got it to 120? I mean 102. Why does he have the mask, man? I need that mask! Let me call my brother back real quick. Chat. Chat, do we fucking need this file? Do we need this nightmare shard? Like, these things are murdering me. I have all these fucking things I don't get rid of. Hoarding. What do we need here? Do we need this, like, this Kiernan's journal, right? This Solomon's Plea to Darkshire? It's like, what the fudge? Am I gonna give these to people at cities? Damn, whelps, you ain't shit no more, bro. Honestly, you weren't even shit, period. There's an add-on that helps you pick and choose what you can delete or not, too. Jesus, add-ons for fucking everything, man. Shadowfang Keep's max level is 30 on this mod, so just need one more spider meat. Oh, no, I don't need any spider meat. We're done. Come on, bruh. Don't try it. Don't try it, you little whelp bitch. Alright. Where's the other turn in? I only finished one? I finished 2 quests right there. Am I tripping, chat? Oh, no, I didn't. That was just one. Okay, we got a bunch of shit to sell. Where are you questing at right now?
I gotta do my Dead Mines quest line.
Oh, you're about to go through. You're about to try to get a group for Dead Mines?
Well, hopefully I can find one.
Yeah, you should go before you get max. It's 26 max. Now you're not even gonna be able to go to W. Oh, you went to WC already. Never mind, we're good.
Yeah.
Blessed Claymore, chat.
Because the, you know, the thing was, but we were supposed to kill Van Cleef, so I still gotta kill him.
King's honor, friend. Light bless you. What can I do for you? For the Alliance.
Whoops. Fuck. Who cares? Buy it back, but who cares?
Well met.
Too much stuff,
Here.
man.
You need something? Light bless you.
Delete file, it's done.
Good day to you. See you around. King's honor, friend.
No. Oh, okay, I sold the spider meat. It's fine. Sold the spider meat. No way I didn't finish this.
Can I help you? Farewell.
Hey, motherfucker, you stole my spider meat. I'll buy it off of these guys.
Well met. Go with honor.
It almost wasn't there, it was close.
You need something?
Herbals, we're still not up there.
Sorry, I had to roast this guy in Go Chat. He had such a fucking brain dead take. It took
What
me
was
back
his
for a
take?
second.
Can I help you?
He said that rested XP shouldn't be allowed in hardcore. It goes against the spirit of hardcore.
The rested XP is like so fucking minute, up to 60. Who gives a shit?
Well, it's part of the game. That's like saying drinking and eating, you know, gains back your health and mana quickly. That goes against spirit of hardcore. Matter of fact, let's put on a blindfold. Seeing goes against the spirit of hardcore.
Sure, you're not hardcore if you're not going in blind. I don't need 4 ribs anymore. Just get rid of them.
You need something? See you around.
Yeah, we're good. $15 druid. Fangor is gonna be tough. I don't think we can do it.
Wait, there's a rested XP add-on?
Alright, dude. I am almost ready to go. All these other guys are fucking high level shit. Probably gonna have to go all the way to the east, chat, and do these over here. The shadow pendants. Actually, I'm gonna do Murloc stuff first.
Oh, they're saying the add-on is against the spirit of hardcore.
What add-on?
Man, who cares? It's just like questy, I guess. I don't know. Maybe like that shit for you. Paid add-on? Come on, guys. It's the internet. Nobody pays for anything. That's crazy.
Spotted sunfish. This should be an easy area, I think, chat. I shouldn't have problems here. Okay. So though.
Oh yeah, I just got to doing that one. There's a lot of them in the water. Just chilling at the bottom of the lake.
They don't seem very difficult. They're really low level. Do I have to go down there to like loot stuff? No, right? It's all off of the Murlocs, I think. They should all drop off of them. I'm just way too high level for these guys. Can't really do much.
So there are actually people that believe that add-ons shouldn't be used in hardcore?
I'm sure there's some believers. Who gives a fuck?
Well, I guess
Just
I
follow
can't
the
use my
damn rules.
hardcore add-on, dude. I'm free to do whatever I want.
Do whatever you want, you know? Follow the rules, that's all that matters. The rules of engagement.
Those are the same people that made a rule if you loot a white item out of a chest, you can't trade it even though the other person could have just picked up the white item.
Yeah. Can't trade. I was worried we were gonna fuck ourselves yesterday because we did the trade for the Hellstone. I was like, fuck, hopefully nobody like hits me up and it's like, dude, you can't play anymore. That. Nice. First Murloc win. I'm gonna go closer here. We're in the water. Heard that aggro. Okay, we're good. Underwater breathing would be fucking nice. Or being undead would be nice.
You know, if you can't get consumables in a dungeon, you shouldn't be able to buff either. Just saying, same logic.
What is that box down there, Chad?
Jack Links presents Messin' with Sasquatch.
Watch this.
Don't mess with other snacks. Choose Jack Link's jerky made with 100% beef.
Ce qui nous fait tomber sous le charme d'une voiture, c'est...
If your bank card says Visa Debit, you can use it to get the perfect gift online. This holiday, shop on millions of websites and apps with money directly from your bank account. Visa, a network working for everyone.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, all troubles will be miles away. And have yourself a merry...
Magasinez chez Bijoux Pandora et recevez un bracelet en argent sterling gratuit comme cadeau spécial pour vous.
Hey, Facebook, stop video.
Gotta be careful. You gotta be careful in here. There's a 25 elite thresher that fucking swims around.
Yeah, busted his stupid ass, Lapras.
You killed him?
Oh yeah. I ain't scared of fucking Pokemon, bro.
Oh, we checked out the Star Wars RPG game trailer when you have time. Oh shit. And Matrix Awakens demos now on PS5 and Xbox. How did I miss those donuts earlier? Let me look at this. Hold on. Let me make sure I don't die. We'll watch these videos after. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you so much for the donations. I apologize for missing this. Is Brian not working right now? Oh, I never got Brian working because we had to do something as soon as I got him working. Or as soon as I was going to.
You know where I gotta go to do my,
I've been like
Warlock
listening for
quest for
fucking
20?
donos and I haven't gotten any. I'm so
fucking
sorry, guys.
Barons.
So sorry. Check Brian while you're underwater. Yeah. We're fine, dudes. Relax. You guys are so scared of everything. Relax. Remember how fucking scared you guys are of Murlocs? How many of you guys died of Murlocs? And motherfucking Murlocs ain't shit. This guy's the shit. Hey, look at him. I just never fight Murlocs until I'm over-leveled. Honestly, it's my rule of thumb here. 24 Warrior apparently has 2 easy game, lol. Sorry, I've seen way too many people die to drowning. No, you're good. I was talking to my chat anyways. No, I'm not. I will not drown. It won't happen. I just missed a couple donations from a long time ago because I thought I had Brian working, so I kind of fucked up. Hey. Thank you, my friend.
Off and away. Would you like to
Got some
purchase
food, boys.
something?
Tacos. Tacos.
Very good. All right, Ethan.
Bruh. There we go. Big dog around me, no thrush.
Oh, here's a quest for at one place in Stormwind. Stockades. Yo, what level do you stockade?
I don't know what max is. I know that I used to go there at 30.
Really? 30?
Where'd you go?
I've always been like around 25.
I'll tell you what the max level is. Max level for stockades is 32, so looks like SFK into stockades essentially.
Yeah.
Getting there. 6 and 6. I got tacos, chat. There we go. Hard shell? You said you hard shell? What the heck is wrong with me? Damn it. JCD, level 13 hunter, down and out. It's a fucking Murloc graveyard.
So what's your next goal, like expectation? Hell yeah. It's a good one.
Sorry, chat. I needed to do a tweet for a sponsor real quick.
Well, I think you can do it.
Yeah, pretty heavy goals, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I can be bold and have the goal of hitting 60. But we'll see.
Shut the front door.
I think I'm playing well enough I can make it.
Well, I mean, I guess you can vanish on everything as long as you keep the cooldown up.
Mm-hmm. It only takes one time. Yeah, but I believe that I can handle it. I believe I can stand on my toes for a long enough period.
I was watching a WoW streamer earlier talking about your chances of hitting 60.
About what?
Your chances of hitting 60.
You said they were low?
I don't remember what he said. I just remember he was talking about it. That's about the only part of the conversation I paid attention to.
You really didn't pay attention?
I'll be honest, once you mentioned your name, I kind of dozed off.
I was about to say you didn't really pay attention, so. I have talent point. What the fuck do I get now?
I do remember he said you're doing really good.
Probably precision, huh?
It was
I would say precision over endurance.
What can I do for you?
Oh yeah, he was watching the clip of you ripping that rogue apart in Westfall.
I mean, I didn't rip them apart, but killed them with help.
Listen, that was his words, not mine. Trust me, I would have used totally different words. I would have said saved by Druid, but those are his words.
Yeah, I would have said saved by Druid too, to be honest. Because I was fucking up. I need one more or two more spotted sunfish, and I fucking get 2 turns. Let's go.
Trying to get out of that fucking water, huh?
Yeah, I plan on maxing precision. Obviously, that's the plan. But for now, I think having endurance is gonna help me stay alive. So let's just keep it for now. You can always change it later. As long as I'm not changing a shitload during this playthrough, I'll be fine. Just gotta change, you know, after I hit 60, really. I'm gonna keep it going until then. Should be fun. Oh yeah. Alright, 2 quests down, let's go. I hate fucking being this close to my character, it knows me. But when you're in the water, the camera gets weird if you're too far from it, you know what I mean? Oh, you don't want to do a hardcore first person run? Dudes who are doing that, I just don't understand. There's just not enough support for a first person playthrough in this game, in my opinion. If I can see the fucking sword and like swinging that bitch and like it's a different, it might be a different thing, but you don't. First person is normal if you played EverQuest, yeah, I feel it.
See you around.
Damn, dude, just fucking boom! XP. Boom! XP. Boom!
XP for days.
For days.
Hey there.
I need to talk to someone. Still charging. That's still charging.
See you later.
Maybe I shouldn't have sold that stuff, because I could probably do something with the suit, right? Murloc fin.
Step on up.
I sold the Murloc fins early. Yeah. Cool. That's my own physique. Alright, that would have helped my cookies a little bit. Crisp spider meat, tough condor meat, okay? And then just Murloc fins. Shadowfang Keep 25. Shadowfang Keep max level is 30. So I mean, we can go a little bit longer before we go there. I'm gonna go all the way over this way. Justin, I'm gonna take a look-see at all. Lauren. We might go SFK tonight. We'll see. Depends how fast we can get leveled.
Not enough mana.
Probably just kill these things. We basically are a dick without poisons. Really don't need the crippling. But then again, the crippling helped me a little bit last time, so. Getting my use out of vanishes now too, which is good. I hadn't needed a vanish for a little while. All of a sudden today we needed a vanish 3 times. You bet your ass they kite shit all over the place in Shura. Dragons to Stormwind. They brought Stitches to Stormwind. Some level 6 paladin died yesterday, I think, to, or was it the day before yesterday? To a dragon getting pulled to Northshire. That was a little funny. I got grief, so I had to start changing my shit to left click, chat. People grief, man. I had to start I loot like you guys normally when you loot a mob in World of Warcraft, you right click it, right? I left click it. Because if I right click it, I can accidentally attack somebody. And I did accidentally attack somebody. Well, he made it so I did it, right? He was like making it happen. Griefing. And then I had to fucking fight him. Good thing it was my level. Not a fan of how, like, around each other you guys are.
I need a tower.
We're not gonna be able to go for the big groups, really. Damn, nope. Guy's level 25. Chat, do you know what level I get cheap shot? You guys remember? $26, really? Okay, at 26 will actually be decent. The fuck was that? How do I got aggro on this guy? Oh, hello. That warlock looks like a truck. Level 26. I was waiting to see how much it would hit me for. If that crit me, I may have died. How did that warlock even aggro? Dude, that's my question. How? These cats are gonna kill me, dude.
What happened? You almost die?
You guys are pretty rough over here. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, the whole place is rough. Fuck that place.
They're just so around each other.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's put 5 of these guys all together and link them. What could go wrong? Gotta kill them, by the way.
Get this guy.
Doing work. Hope you're staying safe.
You understand why I tried to drown him now?
Are you trying to drown these guys?
Yeah, I pulled them through the water and tied them around because I want to see if they drown.
Bro, this hunter rolled up and started shooting this guy. I thought it was a fucking bad guy that just rolled up on me. I thought I was about to die.
Then thought you got. Is there like a channel you can go to for hardcore dungeons?
Yeah, there's like LF, like you can, yeah, there's specific channels for finding people. Like looking for a group or for a group hardcore. Ask your chat name, they'll tell you what channel it is. Why don't you ask in the guild, like see if anyone wants to roll in there? Or you already
I did, I got Dono walled. Had better success talking to you.
That's rough life. That's That's how you spread those guys out. Level 26s, I'm not really interested in taking 2 of them. This guy pulls here. We're gonna get the other guy. There we go. I can spread these guys out a little bit. I don't like taking on 26, but yeah. That helps so much, it's crazy. My problem is I just don't like using it because I don't know when I'm using it. So I definitely got to get a week, like no doubt in my mind, we need a weak auras mod that will tell me when something like that pops up and shit. Like, it's just not fun just, like, letting it sit there and I don't know when I'm using it, just kind of use it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know when I'm going to be fucking full, like now. If I do now, because I heard that metal clash. I heard the metal clash right there because I was paying attention. I don't need anybody dying around me. I thought it was kind of lame for him to spread shot that guy, but or to multi shot, but fuck it. Turn off FCT, you dummy. Turn on combat text in the interface. Oh, no way. That's all I'm missing? Okay. Oh, dude, why is that not on?
Man, ain't nobody want to do group.
Do I do show auras for it, chat? Show all? You want all these.
Very good.
Okay, let's try it. See how annoying it is. If it's annoying, I'm knocked down. If it tells me when to riposte, dude, oh.
Bro, your screens look like the fucking Matrix.
I'll suck someone's wiener if I can see it.
Letters everywhere.
We'll see. Regeneration fades. Oh shit. Fade regeneration. Gonna gain food buff. Here we go. Gain food buff. Oh, it didn't tell me. He dodged it. Fuck you. Fuck you! I don't think he was hardcore, so it didn't matter if he died, but still, save him. I'm pretty good with this repost thing. I'm feeling a lot better about this now that you guys said it. He parried. Is it gonna say riposte or something like that? Yeah? Okay, let's look. No, 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 my friend. No, no, no. I like it. I have a little bit more information on what's going on to me. Pull this guy out of here. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it!
When you fall in love, it changes your world. And there's nothing like it. Battles and bosses, characters and conquests. But this is not a war story. It's a love story. Because when you feel it, you'll know that every good story is a love story. And this is ours.
What can I do for you? See you soon.
I swear to speak no word that is not true, and never to use the One Power as a weapon. The Dark One's army is coming, but there will be one who can stand against him. Your life isn't going to be what you thought.
What can we do?
We protect the people we love. No matter the cost.
I recently switched to Secret aluminum-free deodorant, and I love it. Not only is it
See you
paraben
around.
and aluminum-free, but also PETA certified cruelty-free. If you are considering making the switch to an aluminum-free deodorant, definitely check out Secret aluminum-free deodorant. Click here to check it out.
What's on your mind?
Ask your doctor about Stellara.
Somebody in Westport now, mind control harvesters.
Oh, no way. Damn, man. I'm telling you, bro. As much as griefing is sucky, I kind of like it. I like the how do I put that? I don't like it, but it's not like awful. I don't think it's an awful thing that people like see these hardcore things going on and want to try to end it. You know what I mean?
I think it's one thing to get you, right? Like, get one up on you. It's another thing to follow you around and try
Yeah. Listen, I think it's a one thing to just do it in an area trying to catch random people. It's another thing to follow one guy around trying to harass him, right? I think it's like remember when people used to I don't know how I feel about it. I don't hate that people grieve, but I'm just saying that. You know what I mean?
Finest wires in the land. I can't put that there.
Dropping like fries.
Now I will say that like the whole like dropping infernal on someone though, I think it's kind of stupid because there's zero you can do about it, you know?
Yep.
Not a big fan of that one.
So what you're saying is if you want to make rogues on the Horde side, go engineering and go out to Westfall.
Dude, one almost caught me, bro. One almost caught me doing that shit. It's freaky, but I mean, there's ways to avoid it, you know?
Yeah,
maybe not when it happens to you and you have no idea that anyone's even around. You might get, but if you have suspicion that he's around already, right? It's like you should be okay.
Don't touch harvesters.
Off with you.
Chat, do you guys hate griefers or do you guys kind of like accept it into like the new, the new style of game, you know? Or you guys are just like, fuck it, dude, I hate him. They're lame, hate them, griefers hate them, fuck them, whatever. Very small way to accept it. Hate griefing, but also it's fun as fuck. Yeah, definitely. You guys bring in a hardcore community. It's definitely given them a reason to grieve. Griefers a reason, a bigger reason. There's more punishment that they can dish now.
How are ya?
I think it's kind of crazy. Oh fuck, bro! Someone just got a fat aggro, yo.
Watch your back. Great to meet you.
One thing I want for sure is I want to have my health bar and energy bar, like has a little bar here. You know what I mean? That I can see. You know how they do it in retail? It'd be really nice as well.
Have a good one.
You could do that for sure. Retoros. Okay, we're gonna dibble dabble into the world of add-ons soon here because we're gonna need them probably before we go into SFK because legit we're gonna need to know. Like we don't even have enemy cast bars, dude. Like we're legit we're just being casual, you know. No enemy cast bars, dude. Like what are you doing? Is there not built-in enemy cast bars in Classic? Yo, Donkey Chan dropping the fucking 15 giftos, my guy. Hey, thank you so much. I'm gonna be done eating here. Dude, 15 giftos, my guy, my brother. I appreciate it, man. Guys, get some fucking 1Gs in the chat farm. Show them some love. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. That's a lot of money, dude. I'm loving it, dude. I'm loving it. I'm liking Riposte a lot. And then it's on its own button. Liking that a lot. I don't mean to be that guy, but I'll send you a list of add-ons that will help you out. There's also a third-party thing called WoW Up that just installs the add-ons right into the folder for you. So I don't need like an add-on thing. I just need to know specific add-ons. I'll just individually do it. I'm old school. Damn! The fucking Riposte of this. Just fucking destruction. The top left portrait's more immersive. I mean, we can make our game look cool. Other fluffer. Please, sir. Alright, dos mas. Oh, got the fucking, what's called off of him real quick. 8 seconds of S&D here. Just gonna give it to him. Put points in it, so. This place is actually not hard at all, by the way. There's enough, like, you don't even have to dibble-dabble into the groups out here at all. There's enough, like, just everything, like, padding around that you can just hit them up and be good.
Yeah, you just need patience. Which is something I don't have.
Dude, you actually go for those big groups? You're out of your mind.
I do it all the time, bro. Well, I don't do 4, but I'll do 3 at a time.
And you can just hit 3 dudes whenever, as a warlock, huh? Just go at it? Yeah.
Just dot them all, and run, and they'll just dive for the catchery. Sitting in my tank, dot them all, and then run away.
Wait, he's playing classic or retail? This is classic hardcore. Classic hardcore play. Not dying one time, getting to wherever you get, you know? You die, you delete your character, essentially. If Summit HC dies, he is dead forever. Those warlocks, dude, you don't want to fuck with them though. I'm not a big fan. Those guys, they'll fuck you up, not gonna lie. I could probably sap one of these guys too. I could probably kill them. Don't get me wrong, because these guys are, they take a lot of damage. But I just don't think there's a reason to. Dude, Riposte is so fucking good!
Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Bullshit, dude.
Oh, I just got saved.
Someone helped you?
Yeah.
You better fucking get out of there.
I'm going. I forgot to make my Hellstone.
And you didn't have your Hellstone fucking as a... Oh, dude. Almost made a mistake. Almost, boys. We almost lost Judd. We almost lost him.
It was the Murlocs, dude. Like 8 of these motherfuckers jumped me, dude. Like I was on their gang turf.
Yeah, they were like, yo, don't come around here no more. They're like, GSF.
Yeah. They even yelled East Side, dude.
I fucking believe it, to be honest.
They were like, East Side Baller Gang.
Yeah. Yep. That's what they sound like.
Yo, this mage just came out of nowhere and
help
crossed
you.
over them.
This guy's gonna be a problem
at
for
like
you, so let's call.
6% health.
Besides, I got a little bone to pick with this motherfucker. Suck my dick, bitch. What's up? Yeah, that Warlock would have caused problems. Yo, Captain Tutus, thanks for the Prime, man. Appreciate it, bro. Lupafi, Zignatius, Taxnu, thanks so much, guys, for the resubs, boys, and the new sub, obviously, from Tutus. Alright, boys, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling strong right now. I'm feeling real strong with the repost.